Okay everyone, so in this next lesson, I just want to go through the issue that we encountered when we tried to open up our Visual Studio Code and we had this issue with regard to the PHP validate executable path. And now that we have installed our local server, we will just need to go and insert this code inside of our Visual Studio Code. So if I try to go and click on my Visual Studio Code here, you would see that it opened up my file, our file here that says welcome.php, and it says that cannot validate since no PHP executable is set. So we will need to go to the use the setting PHP validate.executable path to configure the PHP executable. So we can go and click open settings here, or you can go to preferences, settings, and then try to open our JSON file here, and you would see that I have already typed here JSON format for the validation of the executable path. If you're wondering what JSON is all about, and again, this is where JSON, this is where what we call the importance of researching is all about. And in web development, this is going to be a very common thing, you doing your research. So JSON just simply means JavaScript object notation, and that is a syntax for storing and exchanging data. JSON is text written with JavaScript object notation. So we'll not be tackling this because again, this is an HTML fundamental course. I just wanted to go and introduce this to you already, so at least you can go and do some advanced reading about it. But for now, let's go focus with the instructions here. So we have here the code, php.validate.executable path, and then the path from where the php.exe is located. So if you remember, during our discussions, in installing XAMPP or our local server, so we have here the directory from where we saved our local server. You would see in our example here, they had the directory C php.exe. However, in our case, or in my case, I did not save it in my drive C and I saved it inside of my drive D. So I had to go to the PHP, then look for the php.exe here in this directory. So that's the XAMPP and then the PHP directory. And that's what I included here. So let me just uncomment this out. And that should be the format on how we go and type the php.validate.executable path here to the directory from where we saved our or installed our XAMPP local server or examp or XAMPP local server. And then we are looking for the php.exe here. So if you try to go and look at the format here, in your case, you might not need to go and separate the value pairs that we have here. So in my case, I have window.zoom level value pair with a value of 0 here, and I had to separate this line from the line that was given to us as an instruction from where the executable path should be located. So this is the value of the php.validate.executable path. And if we go to JSON here, you would see that if we try to look into the JSON syntax rules, it says here JSON syntax is derived from JavaScript object notation, and data is in name value pairs. Data is separated by commas, curly braces hold objects, square brackets hold arrays. So I didn't want to go and delete this data value here, and that's why I separated it by commas. So if we go down here, you would see that There you go. Each of the value pairs here are separated by commas. And on the last part, that's the part or the data value pair that we did not add a comma, similar to what I did here. So it was able to go and accept that. Now, if we go and try to close this, and then let's first save it and then close it, and then try to restart Visual Studio Code, you would see here that because we have already specified the executable path, which is the path that we have here, the value that we have here, we now have solved the issue of the problem that we encountered when we still weren't able to apply this declaration here inside of this code block. Okay, so I'm hoping you got the idea here. We just followed the format here and we were able to solve the issue with regards to how we can validate the executable path for PHP. So that will be all for this lesson, and see you on our next lesson.